Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Casual Sports Podcast. As always, I'm Alek Koberna. That is Matt Morrison over there. Hope you're all having another great week. Your first week of the new year coming to a close here, Matt. It's Friday, obviously. So, obviously, everyone knows we got our NFL preview today. Final weekend of the regular season weeks. What's 18 now in the NFL? It's been a fun one. We still have meaningful games coming all the way down the stretch here in January, Matt. I think just one to start off today's show. That's just an epic feat right now for the NFL. And I think when there was all the talk at the beginning of the season about the extension of the season itself and making it 17 games, playing a little bit later, a lot of people really saying, "Oh man, now we're going to have so many meaningless games to finish out the season."
Actually, no.
So more injuries. Players are just going to be benched for the final 3 weeks of the year. It's not going to matter. It's going to suck. And I think really the only part that seemingly has been true is a lot of records are going to be broken. And I think you're already kind of seeing how that trend is going to play out in the next few years of how players are able to break records now. And I think if that's maybe the one takeaway you want out of this extension of the season is we're going to see a lot more records. And I don't think that's a bad thing for the sport. And I mean, they've done this before. When they went from 15 games to 16 games, all those 15-game records, they've been shattered over the last 15, 20 years since that expansion to 16 games. It's not a terrible thing for the sport. And, Matt, as you were just alluding to there while I was going on.
Cooper Kupp is
the last few games now have been more important than I think week 17 ever was in the NFL.
Absolutely. And you're talking about records. Cooper Kupp just needs 137 more receiving yards to break Calvin Johnson's record. He's fifth all time, and I mean, if they didn't have that one more game, he probably wouldn't have had it. Season would be over. He'd be that shy of it. Now he still has one more shot. So we'll just have to see. And a lot of people,
it's a real feeling out process right now of what's going on in the NFL, and I mean, this is going to get more and more worked into stats and touchdowns. All these stats they're eventually going to even itself back out. But when you see this initial expansion, you're going to see this initial growth of stats in the sport, and everything's going to look different on paper from your past few seasons than it ever has before because you're playing an extra game. And anytime you're putting an extra game in there, you're giving that chance for more stats. So everything is going to eventually find a way to even itself out.
Yep. It always seems to. So nothing really seems to be left in an odd way. It all flows in and it all evens out. Everybody, I mean, I was excited when they added the last week. So, I mean, Pittsburgh still has one more shot to get into the playoffs, and they also added that extra spot as well.
Right.
With adding the week. So
and when they've added this extra slot, I mean, we're now seeing a playoff race that the 6th and 7th seeds haven't even been decided yet.
No.
And I mean, you're not seeing teams getting eliminated until this very final week of play. And I mean, obviously, Browns just slimmingly missing the cut. Obviously, the loss versus the Steelers definitely wouldn't have helped if we were still in the race. But I mean, still a chance to finish out the season on a high note. And I think maybe the one more important thing, this is giving teams another chance to finish with a winning record instead of finishing 8-8. Because Matt, your team and the Steelers, you finished 8-8 so many times, and I know you definitely felt the season was just kind of average. And I think this gets rid of that average season because it's either going to be a winning season or a losing season. This just felt like the first step into eliminating the tie out of the NFL. Now you can't even tie your season, unless you have a tie somewhere along the way, you're going to finish with either 9 wins or 9 losses, if you're a 500 team. Then I don't know. I think I'd like that aspect of it. Now we don't have teams that you don't really know what they are because they never really decided if they were going to win or lose games. And now I think you see it with the Browns. They looked like they wanted to win games, but they didn't have enough talent. And, you look at a team on the other side of that with Indianapolis. They may not have had the talent, but, man, they wanted those games more than anybody else. And I think it kind of just lends itself into seeing more of the trends of what's going on with these teams throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with that. And, you talk about
trends. Our job's a little easier.
Yeah. you talk about trends, new trends are created. Like old trends die and these new ones are created. And that's just all about change, and you just have to adapt to the change, and people are. So I mean, you just gotta go with it. Go with the flow. That's what I always say. So
Yes, it's going to have to go with the flow from here on out because we got the NFL Week 18 preview coming up here. We'll start this off. Chiefs and the Broncos. Kansas City, they've won 12 straight games versus Denver. This one in Mile High Stadium. Broncos 7-9. I think they're eliminated already from contention into the playoffs. So this one, it's a seeding game for the Chiefs. If they can win, I believe they become the 1 seed. If they lose, it goes to the Titans. If the Titans win, they are the number 1 seed. So right now, Chiefs are hoping that the Texans can somehow pull an upset over the Titans and take away that 1 seed, give Chiefs home field advantage through the playoffs. But right now, I mean, if you're talking Chiefs and Titans, 2 of the strongest teams we've seen all season long out of the AFC, I think you're in a tight race, especially with Derrick Henry on it, set to return in his second round of the playoffs. And obviously, that first round bye will be huge for the Titans if they can get Derrick Henry back coming off a bye week.
Yeah. Oh, man. This Titans team, I mean, they're already a questionable Super Bowl contender, but if you add Derrick Henry and he's 100%, oh, man, they're dangerous. They are going to be a dangerous team to watch.
And we'll get down to the Titans here in a couple of minutes, but we do got to go in order. This is actually our Saturday slated game, Chiefs versus the Broncos. I think this one's a pretty easy one to pick. I think we're both going Chiefs across the board on this one. I'm sure if Mike was here, he'd probably be taking the Chiefs as well. It just, you don't really feel anything out of this Broncos team. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a running back. They hardly have a passing game. Their defense just got rid of its best player a few weeks ago at the trade deadline. So this team definitely feels like they're entering into what needs to be a rebuild mode. And obviously Denver's been in a rebuild mode since they lost Peyton Manning to retirement. And this team just has never been able to find a quarterback. And I don't know what the solution is, but obviously they don't have it yet, and they're not going to find it here against the Chiefs.
No, they're not going to find it. I mean, I still think that they should have drafted Mac Jones was there and available.
Yeah.
They missed him. I don't know.
It was really the first time they didn't. I mean, he was their stereotypical quarterback. I mean, he fits the build, he fits the size, the passing IQ, big name school, a strong arm, all the numbers. He checked every box, and somehow Denver didn't look his way strong enough, I guess, to gain
now
that.
Look at New England right now.
Right. And I guess maybe the one thing that came out of that was Denver finally decided, hey, let's build something, and then we'll bring in the quarterback. Let's give every piece we have and then bring in a guy. Or, they could have been just tired of picking and failing quarterbacks. I don't know obviously we don't know the whole scenario in Denver, or else we'd probably be working in the Denver front office and not doing the show. But, instead we're sitting here in our bedrooms talking about what we think guys like, Hall of Fame quarterbacks are deciding with the football team. So with that being said, we're both taking the Chiefs here. Next game up for us. This one, it's had me on the fence all morning.
Tricky.
Cowboys and the Eagles, the 8:15 game on Saturday. Seemingly, you just look at this game and immediately go, oh, Cowboys, 100%. I mean, they've had the best offense in the NFL. They're averaging nearly 30 points per game this season, which leads the NFL. They got Dak, they got Zeke, they got Pollard. Gallup now gone for the rest of the season with the ACL. But, I mean, this team is so loaded with talent. But this team is on the fence all morning long since I was putting together the show and double-checking that games were happening. When I saw this game, and I just went, I don't know. That Jalen Hurts Eagles squad, they could do something here, man.
They honestly could. I mean, they're 9-7. With the win, they seal a playoff spot, right? Or did they already seal it?
They've already sealed the playoff spot. They're the 7th seed right now in the NFC.
So they're in. No matter what happens, they're both in.
I believe they took the wild card spot for their division.
So we might see a bunch of backups.
I would say no, actually, because Dallas is vying for that 1 seed right now, and they're going for playoff positioning, as both teams are in this game, because there's still chances that Philly can get a really good spot. I mean, they're 1 win away from a 10-win season as well, and I don't think that's something they want to skip out on. I'd much rather go 10-7 than 9-8. And
Yeah.
obviously you got first and second seeds. Everything seemingly is getting wrapped up here, and Cowboys are more so hoping to hold on to that 4 seed that they're in right now. Because ahead of them they'll have the Buccaneers and the Rams, who are both 12-4. Rams have a tough matchup that we'll talk about, but Buccaneers seemingly should hold on to that spot. And with that happening, even if the Cowboys win, they're probably still sitting a game back from the 3 teams ahead of them. So right now, they're just pretty much in a battle against the Cardinals. And I think that's pretty much what we've seen all season long, was these teams fighting. And there's still one playoff berth available. Neither one of these teams in it. But I think Cowboys, they want the playoff positioning over the Cardinals. The Eagles, they have nothing to gain here out of it, but I think they can still drop down to the 8th seed and become – so they have stuff to lose. I don't know how much they necessarily have to gain, but they can definitely lose positioning in this game. So I think both teams are coming out here fighting. I got a feeling we'll see starters. And if we see the starters, I think the one thing that surprises me most when you see this Eagles team – they have the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL. And I mean, I think we've talked pretty much every game. They never seem to have a rushing game. I mean, I think we've pretty much talked. It's just like, man, this team needs a running back. Miles Sanders couldn't get it done. And I mean, Jalen Hurts is definitely adding to the stats here, much like Lamar does for the Ravens. But this team somehow has the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL, despite none of us really thinking they're really good at running the football. So, I mean, I think this team, much as I said this year when I previewing these teams, I like this team. There was something about them. They were sneaky, and they've been sneaky all season long. Depending on who they go up against in the first round, I think this might be the Cinderella team of this season.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, they really do kind of need a running back. Sometimes you get, I mean, Boston Scott went off, but you won't get that all the time, from him. We've seen that. Sometimes when he's really feeling it, he goes off, but I don't know if you'll see that against, Dallas. I mean, you never know. I mean, it's unpredictable with him. And, that's what kind of scares me too. And with their running game, I love their receiving game. I like how Hurts can get out of the pocket. They're going to be a pretty good team here in a little bit. They're starting to emerge right now. They can get a good Cinderella run into the playoffs. Man, they might pick up some free agent signings. Just keep an eye out for that. Another tight end. No more Zach Ertz, so add another tight end, add something to help them out next year or something like that. But I don't know. I'm not that close to picking the Eagles over the Cowboys, because the Cowboys, I mean, thank God Mike's not on this show, man, because the Cowboys are overrated at some point.
I don't know if you can say they are. I mean, look at their second best offense in the NFL, 3rd in passing, 10th in rushing, and kind of what Mike said all season. Their defense hurts, man. They're 19th rated in the NFL, and it seems to be it doesn't matter what Dak does. It doesn't matter what Pollard and Zeke do, because sometimes their defense is just falling apart. You didn't see that the last time these 2 teams met in week 4 of the season. It was 41-21. Cowboys slaughtered them, and I mean, that was still the beginning of what this Jalen Hurts era was going to be. I mean, this was before the Zach Ertz trade. And I think since that trade, you've actually seen the Eagles get better. And I mean, they've obviously still been riding around 500 in games and, splitting games pretty close down the way. But I mean, they've had the benefit of some easy opponents, and I don't think you can take that away from them. And obviously, the Cowboys have had that benefit as well. And you saw the Eagles struggle against the Giants in their first matchup just a couple weeks ago. And obviously, you saw them then clap the Giants the second time around. But this Eagles squad, they're just as much of a question mark as the Dallas Cowboys coming into this game. So, I mean, I'm interested to see where you go first on this one, Matt. Who are you taking? Dallas or Philly?
I like Dallas. I like honestly, I like both teams here. I mean, this isn't my team. Don't do that. Don't put me on the dime like that. I'm going Eagles, man. I gotta go Eagles. I think an upset is brewing here. I like what the Eagles have done. I like Dallas too. I do. But man, this is the perfect game just for this all to fall apart for Dallas. It kind of happened last week. They couldn't get things going against a top team like Arizona. And I know Arizona has kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit too, but they got themselves back on with that win. if Dallas would have won that game, Arizona would have looked really – I mean, they would have been in a very vulnerable position at this point. Like, oh, no, they can't win big games. And now – I mean, Dallas has won big games. They have. But they lost that game, and they're right into this game against a division opponent. I don't know. I think their minds might be screwed up a little bit. Oh, we should have had that game. What were you doing? What were you thinking? And they're going to go thinking that against the Eagles, and the Eagles are going to surprise them. I'm going with the Eagles.
All right, Matt, you're riding my team here. I've been high on Philly all season long.
I like Rager, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Devonta Smith is going to be a star.
Yeah, I think this team is a running back away, good running back away from being a Super Bowl contender in the next few seasons. Let me give you some of the numbers going into this one. The Cowboys are 5-0 versus the NFC East this season. The last time Dallas went undefeated within their division was in 1998. They went 8-0. The Cardinals was still part of that division. The Eagles defense have allowed fewer than 20 points in 5 straight games. That's the longest streak since 2011-2012 season. On the road this season, the Cowboys have allowed 20 points or fewer in 5 straight road games. That's the longest streak since 1996. The Eagles are 0-6 this season versus teams above 500. Philly is 9-1 versus teams currently 500 or worse. Ezekiel Elliott has 5 games with fewer than 10 carries since being drafted in 2016. 4 of those 5 games have occurred since week 11 of this season. The Eagles have won 6 of their last 7 games, 4 straight after starting the season, 3-6. Tony Pollard has 143 fewer scrimmage yards than Ezekiel Elliott on 96 fewer touches this season. Pollard has averaged 6.2 yards per touch, Zeke at 4.5. And Jalen Hurts is one of 2 quarterbacks in NFL history with 750 rushing yards and 10-plus rushing touchdowns in the season. The only other man to do it, Matt? Kyler Murray. And I believe that was last season in which he did that. And I think much like last season, I said Arizona was overrated. Once we got down to the very end of it, we saw they were a team on the cusp of greatness, and they got greatness this year. Philadelphia, they are a team on the cusp of greatness, but I don't think they have it this year. I'm taking Dallas to win this game, man. I think they go undefeated in the division. They just seem like a stronger team. And that one stat that's out is the 0-5 against teams above 500 right now for the Eagles. They're a very good, talented team, but they've had such an easy schedule in a lot of those games. I'm worried coming into this game. I don't think they have the total package to win this. They have great offensive players. They have great defense, but they struggle in the passing department. And I think part of that comes with, despite the fact that they have the number 1 rushing offense, I think they struggle to run the football consistently. They break off big plays, yes, but they don't maintain drives rushing the football. Mm-hmm. And I think where this team is the best is if they play similar to what the Browns really should be doing, is play actions, running the football, just building a steady machine, much like you see in New England, where they don't have super strong running backs, but they go and find guys out of the dirt who want to run the football into the heart of the defense and 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and then we'll hit you with a 5-yard slant route. Then we'll go back to the ground. Then we'll slant it. Then we'll go back to the ground. And when that defense creeps up, then we'll send it deep. I feel like that's the style that we need to see the Eagles playing in. I don't think they do that against the Cowboys' strong defense. I think Trevon Diggs probably comes away with an interception or 2 in the game. I think he's in for a big one here. I think he probably also gives up a touchdown, though. That seems to be kind of his pattern. And I think when you have this game going back and forth, I think it's a close one. But I think the Cowboys pull away in the end here to win it.
Yeah, and that's where Hurts has to be careful, because Diggs will just snag that through the air. What a great rookie season he has had.
And I think one of the things with him, his interception numbers are very high, but he's also given up, I think, the most touchdowns out of any cornerback in the NFL this season as well.
So take advantage of him, but
you got to be careful not to make the mistakes. I mean, if you make mistakes and float that ball a little too much, underthrow it, he will capitalize on your mistakes. You can take advantage of him, but if you make the mistake, he's taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
And that's the real difference. Get this guy versus any other cornerback. Most of them, they won't always punish the quarterback for the mistake, but they're also very hard.
You got to put your best guy on him.
Denzel Ward out there, covering even a guy like Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is going to get his, but he's not going to get big plays out of it. He'll catch the ball and, he'll get tackled on the spot, and Denzel will be right there. When he got Diggs on Adams now, Adams is going for the big play. So is Diggs. Diggs is going for the interception on the other side, and Adams is going for the touchdown. So he's a very different style than I think what we're used to in the NFL. But I almost feel like it's a product of what the NFL has become in terms of everybody wants the big explosive plays. Diggs sees that, and Diggs is saying, all right, you want big explosive plays? I'll give you the big explosive plays going both ways. So he's more of, I think, what you're going to see NFL corners becoming when we have quarterbacks getting better, offensive lines getting better, running backs are getting better, wide receivers are getting better. Offenses continue to get better than they ever have in the NFL. You're going to see more cornerbacks of elite status giving up touchdowns, but also having their interception numbers go through the roof.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see that.
Today's NFL is, and if you don't like that, well, then you shouldn't have argued for better offenses, because this is the result of the last 20 years of the NFL and people seemingly wanting more offense. I mean, we had a 13-3 Super Bowl not too long ago. Back in the 60s, people would have freaking loved that. These days,
I love that Super Bowl. That was a defensive Super Bowl.
Super Bowls was 13-3, and I know a lot of people hate that. The same people that hate that love high-scoring games. This is the result of that. You have corners giving up more touchdowns, but also going for the interception their own way, because everything is offense, offense, offense.
Yeah.
Well, next game for us, Matt. This one, a pretty easy one to take. Packers versus the Lions. Green Bay has won 5 straight games versus Detroit. I'm just going to go ahead out there. Give me Green Bay to finish out the season strong, man. This is, without a doubt, one of the best teams, and they're first in the NFC North, first in the NFC. I mean, I think they have this thing pretty much sealed up at the top of the spot, the top of the standing. So give me Green Bay again.
As much as I kind of don't like, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, at this point, Aaron Rodgers is just becoming one of the good old boys. You got to root for him. And, I'm rolling Packers here. It'd almost be sad if he didn't get one more. If he didn't get one more Super Bowl. I was kind of butthurt for a while because he won that Super Bowl against Pittsburgh. What's that?
I mean, he just feels like he's so close to everything.
Yeah.
Every stat. He's one Super Bowl away from passing off to Brett Favre, and, one MVP away from beating that Brett Favre. And he just feels like he's that close to being the greatest of all time in Green Bay. Yeah. And it almost feels like this is his swan song season, that final hurrah of everything is coming together. I mean, it does seem like, we'll talk more in the offseason on this. It seems like he wants to re-sign there again. I mean, everything's kind of leaning towards the relationship has been repaired there in Green Bay, but we don't know about Devontae Adams, whether he still wants to go to LA and play out there with either the Rams or the Chargers. So I think we're going to see this team kind of have a separation in the offseason, whether that's with Devontae Adams or with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we're still going to have to wait to see, but Matt, last time you picked against this Packers team, it was quite a while ago. You actually took the
Vikings,
the Rams to beat them, and that was all the way back in week 11 of our podcast. So, I mean, I believe we're in week 17 now. So 6 weeks straight, basically, we've been picking the Packers to win it. And even when you picked the Rams to beat them, the Packers still won. I was the only one that took the Packers then. And this team, I don't really think you have to question it much when you're talking them going against the Lions. Lions right now should be going for the lowest potential draft pick that they can get in the draft. So I don't think you got to worry about them putting up too much of a fight in this game trying to win it.
No.
Another team that should be vying for that number 1 pick as well, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're hosting the Colts. Colts clinch a playoff berth with a win and simultaneously eliminate half of the AFC if they can win this. So Jacksonville right now is like seemingly everybody's favorite team to win except for Indianapolis. Matt, I think you need Jacksonville Jaguars to pull
Listen, I got a story. I have a story. At the Steelers game, there was like a lone Jaguars fan wearing a Blake Bortles jersey, and we were in the Mike and I were in the bathroom, and this guy came into the bathroom, and I started it. I'm like, Jacksonville by 14. Let's go. Jags by 14. Everybody started cheering and shouting the whole thing. It was so funny. The guy was smiling and clapping. I'm like, come on. You got to win next week.
Yeah, I mean, so many people right now are rooting for Jacksonville to pull off this game. And Matt, I got to take the Colts in this one. I like them all season. Jonathan Taylor on a potential MVP run. We've seen the emergence of Carson Wentz. They have their full wide receiver core back at full strength. And I mean, I think this wide receiver core has actually improved a lot during this season. I mean, they went from one of the worst wide receiver cores to start out the year to one of those groups you look at and go, that's a solid unit right there. If I was a quarterback, I'd be pretty happy if that was the guys they hooked me up with. And I mean, Indy's definitely, paying the dividends of having such a good elite group. And a lot of people criticize them for bringing Carson Wentz. I think you included. I mean, you hated that acquisition. At the moment, I don't think you can say it was the wrong move.
No, you can't.
From Jacoby Brissett last year, who, they were under 500, and now they go to Carson Wentz, and they have potential in the final week here not only hit double-digit in wins, but also secure themselves a playoff spot and simultaneously become the most hated team in the AFC.
Oh, yeah.
So, Matt, I'm taking the Colts here. Who do you got? Do it.
Yeah. I'm going with Jacksonville, man. You never know. Hey, Jacksonville's 5-0 against them.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw that once that I went, man, if they do this again, that would be something else. And last time somebody picked the Jags on this show.
Just run James Robinson.
Honestly, I think that's the one big part of this team that has been missing this season. With Urban Meyer seemingly trying to ruin Trevor Lawrence, it kind of feels like you definitely saw James Robinson forced to take a step aside from this team. And I think if he comes back, I mean, he's a different animal for this team, and I think he helps control the pace of play for Trevor Lawrence. So I'm interested to see with him getting more and more how they decide to play this one. But currently the Jaguars have the number one pick in the draft this season. I don't think they compromise that. I think they want to keep that one spot. Take a guy like Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau, one of those two guys, and create that defense that took them to the AFC Championship in the first place once again.
Yeah, but either way, first or second, they're definitely going to get either the first or second pick. Each one of those guys, Thibodeau or Hutchinson, they're going to get a great guy. So, at this point, I don't think it matters too much if you get the first pick. You're going to get a gem of a player no matter what.
I'd much rather. But if I'm an NFL GM, Matt, if you're an NFL GM, wouldn't you much rather pick the guy you want and not the guy they didn't?
Yeah, that is true.
That's my one point. There's like, I want first pick. I don't want no sloppy seconds. Give me that first choice. I don't want no leftovers. This ain't Thanksgiving. This is the NFL.
I want the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, I want the meat and potatoes. I don't want those soggy carrots that have been sitting in the juices, man. Give me the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
Next game up for us, another NFC East game. The New York Giants and the Washington football team. This game, man, it's got me for a toss-up because I don't know which team wants to lose more.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, both teams obviously eliminated from playoff contention. Giants will have the fourth pick in the draft. Washington right now sits at 9, but I think that may be traded away already. So I don't think either squad is really going to be going for a higher draft pick. I mean, they're already so close to one another. I don't think this game matters as much. And Frank, go ahead. How about just make a quick pick here? We've liked Washington all season long.
Yeah.
We'll go Washington one final time to finish out the year.
Washington.
And other news there out of Washington, they will be releasing their new name change February 2nd of this year. That was announced earlier this I believe earlier this week or late last week. They will be announcing their new name change after, the next couple of weeks here. So
it could still be the football team.
It was on the list of potential candidates, but it doesn't look like what we've seen so far from the team. It should have something to do with something military-esque. I mean, they're going to have it looks like commander or general stars going along the back neckline of the jersey.
Yeah.
So you can kind of assume it's going to be something military-esque. Armada is one of the potential names. Commanders are a high
I like
option.
the Commanders.
They announced that it would not be the Red Wolves or the Red Hawks. Those are the two names they kind of had to throw out due to other trademarks in the in other national sports leagues. So there's definitely some options open. My favorite did not make the final list of the Red Tails. I thought that would have been an awesome name to go with. The Tuskegee Airmen. That would have been a really cool thing to go with, and it keeps the military theme. But we're going to have to wait and see. And, we're going to get here in a month's time, we're going to figure out what the new name of the Washington football team is going to be. And hopefully they don't screw this up as bad as Cleveland did. Yeah. Knock on wood, right?
Honestly, that'd be cool if they just, I know they probably won't. The football team, a lot of people have just been rolling with it. Like, go football team, but
it kind of works.
It works.
And
that's
Matt,
why I wanted Cleveland just to be the Cleveland baseball team. That would be sweet.
It would be something. I think
still be Cleveland.
Would be just as upset. But I think the one thing with Washington football right now, it shortens to WFT. When the team screws up, you can shorten it and change it up to WTF because, that just seems to fit the team and fit the city too. So, I say keep Washington football team because WTF not. There we go.
Yeah.
Next game up here for us, we got the Bears and the Vikings, two teams that still can't find ways to win with all the talent they have. I don't know the injury status here, Justin Fields. Let me look that up real quick for this game.
Who are they going with instead? Is it Foles still?
Justin Fields was put on the COVID reserve list. He's done for this season. I believe it's Foles. Let me check if it's in.
Okay, yeah.
Looks like Andy Dalton will be the starter.
Oh, okay. I'm going Vikings.
Well, keep in mind, Vikings have been rolling with different quarterbacks as
well.
Yeah, no,
I like Mannion. Sean Mannion. What a story he's been coming out of Oregon.
But it wasn't announced. Vikings Mike Zimmer says quarterback Kirk Cousins will start Sunday. With that being said, one team's going to have a starter in there. The other one's having Andy Dalton. I'm going to take the Vikings in this game.
I'm taking the Vikings. Yeah. If it was Nick Foles, I'd be taking the Bears.
Really?
Honestly.
Yeah, Andy Dalton, he's just inconsistent, and I think that's his biggest problem.
I don't understand.
You rely on him to win a game. I just don't know if you can anymore.
You can't. You put Nick Foles in, and you have a potential. The guy can still sling the ball. They beat it. Who'd they beat with him?
I don't remember, but let's continue to move on
here.
Next game should be a pretty easy pick for the both of us here. Titans and the Texans. Titans are one win away from clinching the number one seed and home field advantage in the AFC. So this is a huge game for them. And I think any team right now at the top of a list that wants that one seed more than anybody, it has to be Tennessee. They have to have that first round bye so they can come back strong in the second week of the playoffs with Derrick Henry. I think they fight tooth and nail to get this one against the Texans. I don't know why. I just feel like the Texans are going to, for some reason, decide now to put up a fight, but I got the Titans coming out on top.
I got the Titans as well. Man, they're going to be dangerous. When they add Henry back, watch out, Kansas City. Watch out.
Well, Matt, the final tour of Big Ben continues, and he gets to finish off his career against the rival and a chance to get into the playoffs. Final regular season game for the storied career of Big Ben against his hated rival, the Baltimore Ravens. Two teams fighting for that one of the final two playoff spots. They're on the bubble. They need help, man. Both teams are falling out of position here. Lamar Jackson still a question mark. And against that defense, Huntley's a talented young quarterback, and he's got a lot of room to grow. But, man, your defense is just too much to handle. You know what is coming for that sack record, man. He is going to go off. Give me the Steelers. Give me the defense, man. Ravens, even if they bring Lamar back, we don't know at what status he's going to be. And it kind of feels like this injury has kind of nagging on for a little bit longer than it should. And I think it's just one of those games. Ravens, as strong as they've pushed to try and make a final run, they're a little bit too far out. So give me the Steelers here, man, because I don't think Big Ben can finish his regular season on a loss.
No,
it
he
doesn't feel
can't.
right.
And that Pittsburgh defense, you saw how, oh my gosh, what was it, like 9 sacks? And they've always seemed to keep Lamar Jackson in check. They've always seemed to get in his head and make him play god awful, because that doesn't look like Lamar Jackson that we have seen when they play Pittsburgh. You got Watt running around, Watt with cracked ribs too, still playing like the defensive player of the year, and he should get that. I mean, honestly, we'll go with that a little bit more down the road.
Once we get toward the awards part of the season, we'll talk that. We'll give all our nominees and our pick who we think should win it.
You got TJ Watt. Alex Highsmith has really formed into a great player. You still have Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward can put up plays. I think they still need a couple more pieces. They have some young guys. I think Trey Norwood has potential, and I really like what I've seen from Witherspoon too. Both of those guys had interceptions last week. They can defend well for the most part, but hopefully they put up a good game here, and hopefully Fitzpatrick as well. But I gotta go Steelers here too. And if Najee Harris runs possessed again, no chance.
And obviously, me as the Browns fan, I do have to say thank you to Najee Harris. He single-handedly won me my fantasy football championship last week. So thank you. You've given me bragging rights over my entire family for the next few months. So thank you, Najee Harris, and Chris Boswell. He was a part of that as well. But
Boswell. Oh, there's another guy. Boswell always comes in clutch. Always.
100% here. Matt, let's keep it in the AFC North, the other in-division matchup. The Bengals in the Browns, Battle of Ohio, one final time for the season. Bengals clinch their division, man. They're in a chance to potentially, if the Chiefs slip up, I think the Bengals can take the 2 seed right away from them. This is a good matchup for the Bengals to do that on. And, Matt, this is my Browns team, and I have to pick them. But if I had no bias here and no opportunities for my own squad, if I wasn't a Browns fan, I 100% would be taking the Bengals in this game. They're just better in every way. I mean, with Baker Mayfield sitting out for this final week, it'll be the Kirk Cousins show, and I imagine a few other guys will probably be sitting out, or not Kirk Cousins, sorry,
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum was the backup for Kirk Cousins.
I know.
I feel like the Browns are going to have some guys kind of opt out of this game, much like, bowl games in college football. There's nothing to fight for right now for Cleveland. So if I wasn't a Browns fan and didn't want them to finish out on a win, I would be taking the Bengals. But I got to roll with my Brownies one final time to finish out the year.
Yep, I feel you there. I'm going Cincinnati here. Joe Burrow is for real. They're for real, and they have. A lot of people, are saying, hey, man, they beat the Chiefs. They can beat anybody. Look out for them. I will not. I'll be a little surprised because what a huge transition from last year to this year. They were horrible last year, and this year everybody's saying, oh, man, they might go to the Super Bowl. They are definitely a sleeper team to go to the Super Bowl.
Cincinnati is what Cleveland was supposed to be.
Yeah. Jamar Chase probably should be rookie of the year. He's up there.
I think it depends how everyone finishes in this final week will probably determine, rookie of the years for offensive players. Yeah. But he's definitely up there in the conversation. When we get down to that, you bet your money he's going to be one of our nominees coming down the final stretch of the season. So with that being said, you're taking the Bengals. I got to roll Cleveland one final time to finish the year. I'll probably be taking Cincinnati in the first round of the playoffs, though. Next game up for us, 49ers and the Rams. The Rams, it's a toss-up here on how much they need this game because they're 12-4, but so are the Buccaneers. So they're right now fighting to hold on to second place in the NFC. I think if they lose and the Buccaneers win, Buccaneers will take that spot away and go into second. So I think this Rams team is going to come out here fighting. But, 49ers, they're still in the hunt right now. They're the number one team that has not earned that spot in the playoffs. And, 2 teams are left in the hunt right now for the NFC. If the 49ers win, they're in. If the Saints lose, the 49ers are in. If the Saints beat the Falcons, though, and the 49ers lose, I think the Saints get in the playoffs.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we're in a pretty crazy scenario right now to finish out the season for this 49er squad. So they need this, man. The NFC West is looking to get 2 teams into the playoffs. And obviously they're going to be headlined by the Rams. And this final week here, it could put the 49ers in that spot, or it gives the second seed in the NFC to the Saints if they beat the Falcons and the 49ers lose. And it doesn't seem that far out of position for that to happen. If the Saints can pull that off this season with no starting quarterback pretty much since Jameis Winston started the year 5-2. Since then, I mean, I think they've gone 3-5 along for the rest of the season. So, I mean, the fact that this team could still make the playoffs is impeccable.
That would be a miracle. That would be an absolute miracle.
And this miracle can very easily happen. I mean, this Rams team is so good. Matt, I'm taking the Rams in this game.
Oh, me too.
I think there's a chance the Saints get in, man.
Yeah, I got to go Rams here, too. And that'd be sweet to see the Saints get in. You know, they're still getting in without, Drew Brees. And that'd be just sweet just to see them get in. It would be.
I mean, without a wide receiver one and Michael Thomas, I mean, what more can you ask for out of this team than just consistency? And I think, as much as we talk some head coaches around the league, one guy that needs to be out for Coach of the Year, Sean Payton. I mean, this team is potentially in the play. If they get to the playoffs, his name has to be there at the end of the season. I mean, he probably doesn't win it because there's some more deserving guys out there, but he's definitely right up there with the top of them.
Oh, he should be. Oh, he should be. And look for them to draft a quarterback, honestly.
I don't think so. I think they bring Jameis Winston back and he gets another run.
Bring Winston back? Okay. And with Michael Thomas there, that would be a lot more helpful. So
yeah, good. I mean, I think they probably bring in some extra pieces on the defensive side this year, but I don't think they take a quarterback. I think they build defensively and see if they can roll with Jameis Winston. I mean, they brought this guy in for a reason.
Yeah, they did. So we're going with that. Were we talking the Saints game or the Rams game?
We were talking Rams game, right. But I'm taking the Rams. You said you're taking the Rams as well.
I'm taking the Rams.
For us, Panthers versus
Cooper
the
Kupp's
Buccaneers.
Gonna break the record.
What?
I do believe Cooper Kupp will break the record.
There you go. You got that as well. And look, potentially Matt Stafford breaking 50,000 yards.
Yeah.
Career yards. He's right on the cusp of it. If he has a big game with Cooper Kupp, you can guarantee he's going to hit that 50,000 mark. And that's some pretty elite status. I mean, especially we're talking 3-4 years down the line. If he can get up near, actually not even that far, maybe 2.5, 3 years down the line, we're talking about Matthew Stafford joining one of the most elite clubs in the NFL at 60,000 yards. I mean, that's reserved for Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, I think Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady. I mean, I think that's the list. It's not very long, and it's all guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famers at the 60,000 yard mark. So, I mean, Stafford, he's on the edge of 50,000 now. It won't be too long before he's hitting 60.
Yeah. I'm looking here.
Wow.
Let's see. Oh, Big Ben has 63,000. So once again,
another first ballot Hall of Famer guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Ben's fifth. Brett Favre is fourth. Peyton Manning, then Brees, and then of course, Tom Brady. With Brady just passing Brees this year. So.
Yep.
All right.
Back to this one. Back to Tom Brady. Actually, he's got a chance to finish out the season and potentially get up there and get a second seed, or maybe even a first seed away from Green Bay, although that's not likely. But if the Rams end up losing to the 49ers, they're Tampa Bay. If they beat the Panthers, can take the second seed away from them and be the second seed and get that first round bye. And I think they got a good chance to do that. I'm taking the Buccaneers in this game, Matt.
Yeah, quick pick. Buccaneers.
All right, next game up here for us, the Cardinals and the Seahawks. This one feels like it should be another quick pick. Seahawks got nothing left on the season. They've been officially eliminated. They would have the seventh pick right now in the NFL draft, but keep in mind they traded that one away, so they don't have a first-round draft pick. Seahawks have nothing this offseason, man. I know Russell Wilson, he said he's committed there to, finish. He wants to finish his career in Seattle. He wants to win Super Bowls. He wants to be a champion in Seattle. Give credit to that. obviously it's not his year. Cardinals need to pick me up going into the playoffs. They got to pick it up here. Give me the Cardinals.
Yeah, as much as I want to go with Seattle, I'm happy Russell's staying there. Even everybody was saying, "Oh, bring Russell to Pittsburgh." I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I want Russell to stay in Seattle. I like him there. That's where I grew up seeing him, Seattle. And I'm not saying I hate it if he come to Pittsburgh, but it just feel not a fit. It wouldn't feel right at all. But yeah, definitely gotta go Cardinals here. Just their Seahawks are just down and out, and I don't know why they traded that first round pick away. I honestly don't. I hope they got something good out of it.
It was their safety. I don't remember his name right now. That has been
Jamal
injured
Adams?
most of the season. Yeah, I think it was Jamal Adams, who's been injured most of the year.
Yep.
I think they traded 2 first-rounders away for him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they really messed that one up.
Yeah.
But continuing to move along here, this one might be the most intriguing, one of our final most intriguing matchups of the season. Patriots and the Dolphins. Dolphins, the best team eliminated from playoff contention at the moment. I mean, they have the 14th seed, and I mean, they can probably benefit from a loss here if out of any team really in the final few weeks here. They probably need a loss the most just to kind of get a better draft pick out of this one. But right here at 14, they've obviously been taking some good wide receivers, building up a good program with Tua as their quarterback. If they can keep some guys healthy, I think it's going to be a very good team in the future. I mean, well, maybe not a very good team, but I think they're a team that is in the playoff race pretty much every year. I mean, they're going to be a 500-plus team, and I think they're going to be a solid group, one you got to watch out for. And I think going into this final week, it's at home. And where's the one place Bill Belichick has always struggled, Matt? Hard Rock Stadium. He's 9-12 in road games versus Miami. Since 2000, Belichick's 9-12 in Miami. So this is the one Achilles heel you've seen of Bill Belichick. This is the one place he struggled. But this season, Mac Jones has been spectacular on the road. This team has been spectacular on the road. I say they give it one last
6-1
season. I think the Dolphins, I think they're going to pull some guys and try and go for a little bit of a better a draft position. It's not going to benefit them much, but they might get the benefit of 1 or 2 spots. I think that's better than, potentially pushing them up higher. So I got a feeling they're going to kind of fall apart here. And give me the Patriots on the road. I know it's not Belichick's spot, but it's still Billy B and Mac Jones, and Mac can win on the road for whatever reason. Most rookie quarterbacks suck on the road. This seems to be where he plays the best.
They're 6-1 on the road, so
right. And Matt, honestly, in any scenario right now, I'd almost say I want the Patriots to lose just so that they can be the away team in every single game they play.
Right?
I don't think they want to be the home team.
No, I don't think so. But I got to roll with Patriots here as well. New England, I mean, what a great bounce back season they have had. They had the Cam Newton experience, and this didn't work out very well. They drafted their quarterback, their next, 20-year guy. Hopefully, Mac Jones stays there for a while. Hopefully, I'm 34 years old and he's still there. Hopefully, okay, it'd be sweet to see another storybook career like that. Just like Tom Brady. I mean, we've basically seen a good part of Tom Brady's career. I know when he was a rookie, we were all in diapers, but he was still in the league. And when we were first started to see him, 2007, 2008, that's when we first became knowledgeable of wow, that's Tom Brady. I mean, that's still a long time that we've been watching him, so that'd be cool to see.
14, 15 seasons, yeah.
Yeah, we've still seen him for a while, so... But, I got to go Patriots here. They're one running back away from being a complete team, but I like their guys that they have, Damian Harris and Stevenson.
They've never had that superstar caliber running back.
They haven't.
They're a good team that could pick up a guy, potentially like Alabama's Brian Robinson. I think he's a guy that might fly under the radar this year into the draft, and obviously he had a big semifinal game against Cincy, and I almost feel like that's a guy they could kind of use. Just find a big power running back, man, and go back to the roots of Bill Belichick's system of just ground and pound, put it right up the middle, and take no prisoners. That's always been their approach in New England. But moving on here along the show, 10 minutes left. Let's go through these final few kind of quickly. Matt, New Orleans Saints and the Falcons. We already said the 49ers are going to lose. If the Saints win this one, they're in. And you know what? By golly, they're going to do it. Give me the Saints to take
Give me
this.
the Saints.
They're at home, man. One final game for the season at home. Just give them a fighter's chance in this one. We kind of like the Falcons, but it kind of feels like they've been falling apart a little bit more to finish out the year. And right now, New Orleans defense in the last 4 weeks, they've tied for the fewest allowed points in the NFL. They've only been allowing 9.8 points per game. Should be a strong finish for them, and we both like the Saints to finish out the season. Next game for us, one of our final two, Highmark Stadium, the Jets and the Bills. Bills should be a pretty easy win for them, Matt.
Yep, Bills.
They hung 50 on them last time?
What's that?
I think they hung, 50 on them last time they played earlier this year?
Yeah, I think so. Let's just check. 1 second.
Waiting on NFL.com to load while we're going here.
Yeah, here we go. Last time they played the Jets, 45-17 they won.
Yeah.
So
it was quite the blowout. I thought it was. So.
Yep, and they'll be able to clinch the division for the second consecutive year in a row if they just win this game, right? If they win, they clinch it, right?
They may have already clinched it, I believe.
Did they?
Well, they would. They have the tiebreakers over. I guess I don't know. I don't know exactly how that scenario is working out between these two. They are both 10-6. I would have to say, if they win, they clinch. If they win, they would clinch. Yeah, that division has not been sealed up yet. You're right.
Okay. All
right. Well, we're both taking the Bills here. That brings us down to our final game of the regular season in the NFL. Our 8-20 game, this 18-week season, man. We've pretty much been going right along with them here. This is week 17 of the Casual Sports Podcast. So we've pretty much been with the NFL this entire ride. So it's going to be up to me to figure out what the hell we're talking about next on the show after the NFL wraps up. But, one final hurrah for the year. Winner clinches the final playoff spot. The Raiders versus the Chargers. Las Vegas, through thick and thin, at home, has one more chance to take this one away. Man.
Now, what's the scenario here? If
winners in, losers out.
Okay. That doesn't have anything to do with Pittsburgh or anything?
Nope.
Okay. Winners in, losers out. Oof.
Yep. It's pretty simple right now. This is for the second place in the AFC West.
This is tricky. I've been rolling with this Raiders team for a while.
It's so hard to pick against Derek Carr in these big games. This is where he plays the best football.
It's very hard to pick against him. And I've been rolling with this team. They have been a Cinderella, honestly. With all the stuff they have been through, Derek Carr has carried them. He has spoken for everything that has happened. We don't have to reminisce. He's been up there. He's been like the spokesperson of the Raiders. He has led them through thick and thin. Give me Raiders.
Yeah, Matt, I had a feeling you were going to go that way on it. And, part of me wants to give that to you as well. But you know what? I've been just as high on the Chargers team. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's a very talented guy. And as down as I've been on them for, not really seeming like they have a complete package, I give me the Chargers one more time to finish out the season. I like LA in this game. So I'm wrapping out the season with the Chargers. You're wrapping up with the Raiders. Can't ask for a little bit more of parity than picking two different teams here. But that does it. That's our NFL season over and done with. So let's rapid fire NBA picks here. Washington Wizards, Chicago Bulls. Matt, I got a feeling you're rolling the Bulls with me here. I'm taking Chicago.
Bulls. Man.
Next game here, Matt, your favorite team, the Washington Capitals, taking on the St. Louis Blues, who just lost to your team the other night here. We were talking about it. Your Penguins picking up another win. They're in a nice hot streak right now. We don't got time to get into that one. I'm taking the Capitals.
Won last night. They have 10
in this game here. Matt, I'm taking the Capitals in this game here. Are you going Capitals or Blues?
I'm going Blues.
I know Blues. You hate them Capitals.
Hate those Capitals. But all-time winning streak record is 17 games, also held by the Penguins. We won 10 in a row so far. Let's keep it going, Pittsburgh.
All right. Well, Matt, let's finish this out the only way we know how. Highlights of the week. Mine has to be the Rose Bowl game last Saturday, man.
Oh, yeah.
I know we've been talking about it all week. It was just epic as a Buckeye fan with C.J. Stroud and Jackson Smith, the Jigba. I mean, epic way to finish out the season. Epic way to start off a new year. That's my highlight of the week, Matt. What's yours?
My highlight of the week, you know what my highlight of the week is, that Monday Night Football game, man. Ben's last hoorah. That's my highlight of the week right there. Absolutely amazing.
Well, then, Matt, let's finish off the NFL season one more time. This week's Meathead of the Week.
All right. So this week's Meathead of the Week, man, we've been giving it to this section. I mean, these guys for a while. I almost went Antonio Brown, but of course, with all this stuff that's came out, we're just gonna not talk about that.
We're waiting to see what the truth is.
Yeah, we're waiting to see what the truth is. But my Meathead of the Week, all right, what's his name? I don't know. It was a referee from the Miami. Who'd they play? It was the Miami game the other night. I think they were playing. I forget who they were playing. But Kyle Lowry throws the ball back to the referee. It touches his hands, okay? It kind of bounces away from him. You know what this referee does? They're playing Portland. He throws him out. He throws him out of the game for giving him back the ball. It's not his fault. He can't catch it. Yeah. Unbelievable. I'm gonna rewatch this video, but I can't believe that. I can't believe that.
And man, I want to give an honorable mention and Meathead of the Week to the Washington Wizards broadcaster. If you've seen on our Casual Sports Report Twitter page, I put the video out there. We won't get into what was said on the broadcast, but a clear and decisive meathead move. Whether or not he knew what he was saying or it was a mistake or whatnot. As a broadcaster, we know you don't say something unless you have 99% confidence in what you're saying, and clearly mistakes were made on that one, but we won't get into that one here. That's going to do it. Week 17 wrapped up here for us. Week 18 wrapped up for the NFL. Come on back next week. We're going to kick it off with college football national championship game, Alabama and Georgia. Till then, I'm Alec. That's Matt. See you next week.